Did Mauricio Pochettino just sack himself in the aftermath of yesterday's defeat at Wembley at the hands of Liverpool in the Carabao Cup final? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Yesterday's video is going to centre around the Chelsea manager currently known as Mauricio Pochettino and asking the question of whether or not the Argentine manager has just shot himself in the foot with his post-match comments in regards to the extra time tactics that he employed during Chelsea's 1-0 defeat at the hands of Liverpool at Wembley in the Carabao Cup final. His words are interesting to say the least, and in all honesty, I would be kind of frustrated with what he said after the game, particularly when it came to his tactics in the extra time period of the game. And I'm just wondering whether or not he has just sacked himself with what he has said in the post-match reaction to the game. We're going to be talking about Pochettino, we're going to be talking about Chelsea, we're going to talk about the game yesterday and everything else in between. But before we go any further, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. And of course, get involved in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. That way for great and interesting reading, I'm sure, down below in that comment section. Let me know whether you're Poch in, Poch out. Should he stay? Should he go? Should he be given more time? Should he be kicked out the door without a second's thought? Let me know what you think down below. I'm sure it'll make for great and interesting reading, of course. But without further ado, let's get on with the video. Let's talk Chelsea, Pochettino, the Carabao Cup final yesterday, and everything else in between. This video stems from the post-match reactions from Pochettino yesterday, and in particular, when he was talking about his tactics that he employed in the extra time phase of the game. Now, this would be frustrating. I'm not a Chelsea fan. I'm a Liverpool fan, of course. I was excited. I was happy. I was jubilant. I was fired up yesterday. I couldn't believe what the game was like, how it was played. I couldn't believe how the Liverpool players coped with it. I was so proud of that team. I was so happy. I was so beaming with pride about how my club conducted itself, from the fans that were singing and chanting and producing a wonderful atmosphere at Wembley, it seemed, to obviously the players on the pitch, the coaching staff, the players that were in attendance that obviously couldn't play yesterday, and obviously the manager and the players on the pitch themselves. Everything was perfect from a Liverpool standpoint yesterday. I cannot fault it one bit. But if I was a Chelsea fan, I would be fuming at the comments that were made by Mauricio Pochettino. Now, that's not to say that I don't think a large part of yesterday's performance was down to him, and we'll get onto that, get onto why a little later. But his tactics in extra time yesterday were so poor. Were so poor. He admitted to playing for penalties in extra time. Not going for the kill, not going for the throat, not grasping the golden opportunity that was presented before him, before his very eyes, to win a trophy in England for the first time ever. Something that's been eluding this guy for a very long time. He missed this opportunity to get that. It was a golden opportunity. Liverpool were the favourites going into this game, and then the closer the game got, obviously the injuries started to pile up for Liverpool, and the playing field sort of got a bit more level. And some may even say that with the absence of the likes of your Darwin Núñez's, your Mohamed Salah's, your Dominic Soboslai's, and your Diego Jota's, and your Curtis Jones's, and Trent Alexander-Arnold's, that maybe Chelsea were actually seen as the favourites going into the game. Not in my eyes personally, but maybe in certain people's eyes, they would have seen this as a huge opportunity and one that Chelsea should have took. And they won't get a better opportunity at winning a trophy ever. But Poch let it slip through his grasp. And Gary Neville, again, I'll reiterate what he said yesterday because he put it beautifully and poetically. It was Klopp's kids against the blue billionaire bottle jobs. And that's exactly what it was, because towards the end of the second half of normal time, Liverpool were there for the taking. Chelsea were on the front foot. Chelsea were on the ascendancy. And Liverpool were looking tired. Liverpool were looking a little lost. They were looking a little bit leggy, and they were looking like they were drowning a little bit in the blue sea that Chelsea were producing. And it seemed only a matter of time before Chelsea were going to get that breakthrough goal that would have probably proven to be the winner. Chelsea were on their front foot. Chelsea were attacking. Chelsea were trying to find that winning goal. Fair play. If that second half had ran on for another 5 or 10 minutes extra, it probably would have gone in Chelsea's favour. I'm not going to lie. That's how I felt at the time, that if this game had gone on another 5 or 10 minutes, Chelsea were going to get that winning goal. As it happened, the full-time whistle came at the perfect time for Liverpool to get back into Jurgen Klopp. He gave them this inspirational team talk, I'm imagining. He gave them this "I'm proud of you" sort of stuff, and obviously changed a few things and rotated a couple of things around to suit, obviously, countering Chelsea's approach. And then in the second half, he was helped even more so. In extra time, he was helped even more so by the fact that Chelsea decided to drop off themselves. Chelsea decided to go more counter-attacking. Chelsea decided to let Liverpool off the hook. Chelsea decided to miss the opportunity to win a trophy. Pochettino decided to miss the opportunity to win a trophy. He went counter-attacking. He went a bit more defensive, despite the fact that he was seeing Liverpool throw on these kids and throw on the likes of Jaydan Dans, and start with the likes of Connor Bradley, and throw on James McConnell, and throw on I forgot his name now. And throw on I forgot his name. Bobby Clark, that's it. And throw on Bobby Clark. And despite the fact that Liverpool had a very weakened bench, a bench that was mainly full of kids that a lot of fans had not heard of. One player that even came on in Jaydan Dans had only made a cameo appearance a few days ago, and that's probably the first time that a lot of fans have actually heard his name. He made a cameo appearance against Luton, and that was probably the first time a lot of people have heard his name. And despite all of that, and despite Chelsea throwing on £160 million worth of talent in the form of Madueke, Nkunku and Mudryk, Chelsea still bottled it. Pochettino still bottled it. You can take the man out of Tottenham, but you cannot take Tottenham out of the man. And I know Tottenham are catching strays in this video, even though they're not involved. But I just had to throw that in there. So I do apologise to Tottenham fans, but I just had to throw that in there. Pochettino bottled it. And like I say, his post-match press conference afterwards, in which he basically admitted that he felt penalties was the way to go, and that he fancied their chances in a penalty shootout rather than winning it in normal time, is a joke. It's laughable. And in my opinion, I'd be calling for his head tonight if I was a Chelsea fan. I would absolutely be calling for his head. There's no way you should be admitting that. There's no way you should be seen admitting that when, of course, you've spent a lot of money, and you have also thrown on that money onto the pitch as substitutes in comparison to the Liverpool squad that was presented before you as well. There's absolutely no way. Now, in terms of the game, look, I'll say this. It's not all Poch's fault. It's really not all Poch's fault. The whole idea that this was kids against experienced players is true, because Liverpool's team was a team of, like I said before, with all due respect, nobodies that nobody had really ever heard of prior to either this season or prior to maybe a few days ago. Chelsea's team was made up of players that are on big money, big wages, and also arrived at the club for big transfer fees. Maybe some of these players are just not good enough. Now, I think it's also a coaching issue that will require time, effort, and patience. I don't think Jurgen Klopp wins that game if he's the newer of the two managers. If this is like his first game, or this is like his first season, or he's come in partway through this season and has guided Liverpool to this competition's final, I don't think Liverpool win this game with the players that I've presented before him, because I just don't think Klopp would have had the togetherness, the unity, the camaraderie that obviously came with what happened yesterday. I don't think he would have had that without years of training, years of getting the idea of his philosophy right down to the very core of Liverpool Football Club. The standards, the procedures, everything's set in place. He won't get that overnight, and neither will Chelsea, and that was, I think, the difference maker on the day. And I did actually say that it would be down to coaching in the end. There was a comment by someone, I forgot who, on a poll that I did on my page, on my YouTube page, that was basically who's going to win the Carabao Cup on Sunday, Liverpool or Chelsea. Someone said that the injuries level the playing field, so surely it should be Chelsea, right? Because they should fancy the chances against a weakened Liverpool side. And I said, I agree, but I also think Liverpool will still win it, because I think overall it will come down to the coaching. And I think Klopp's a better coach than Poch. He's also had more time, more effort, more patience, and obviously a lot of longevity in there as well. And that's where I said that a difference maker would come in. And lo and behold, I was right. I was right on that front. And that's where Chelsea had to take a leaf out of Liverpool's book, because I think with a lot more patience and a lot more time, Pochettino could still turn things around at Chelsea. He really still could. And I know there was a lot of Chelsea fans that were angry yesterday, wanting Poch out, wanting Poch to be gotten rid of. And I understand that to a point. And like I say, his post-match press conference was not the best. It wasn't great. It didn't make for the best of readings. And I can fully understand, and I can fully say, like, I would have no issue with him being sacked either. My only issue is that with Chelsea, where do you go from there in terms of your next manager? You tried giving Thomas Tuchel a chance. The board didn't obviously want him. You tried Graham Potter. Didn't work out. Mauricio Pochettino's come in. Hasn't worked out. You go to a new manager, he's going to want a new squad. He's going to want to get rid of some of the players that are there, that are tied down to 8, 9, 10-year contracts. He's going to want an entire new squad. He's going to want to get rid of some players. He's going to want to keep some players. He's going to want to change some things around. He's going to want to change the backroom staff again. I have not seen this kind of transformation of Chelsea happen at any other club and it be an overnight success. It was never going to be that. And that's what Chelsea fans have to work out. It was never going to be an overnight instant success, This was going to take time and effort, and something that Pochettino needs. Because sacking the manager is one thing. But is that the be-all and end-all of your problems? No. Your recruitment's been poor. The way your club has been run has been poor. Todd Bowley stealing the spotlight at nearly every turn has been poor. Everything about Chelsea has been poor these past couple of years, but there has been so much change that you're expecting an overnight success. It's just madness to me. And yesterday proved it. Yesterday proved that this team is getting used to playing with each other. This team is getting used to playing with this manager. It was never going to be an overnight success. And when it comes down to it as well, as much as you want to say like it was Klopp's kids against the blue billionaire bottle jobs that were more established, more well-known, more experienced, and obviously were on a lot more money or were bought in for a lot more money at the club, it was actually the more experienced players of Liverpool that guided them through it. Look at Konate, look at Van Dijk, look at Endo as three very big examples. All three had imperious and insane and phenomenal performances yesterday for Liverpool. And they played their hearts out and they guided that young team through the entire course of the 120 minutes that they played yesterday. Endo and Van Dijk in particular were insane. Shout out to the likes of Kelleher. Shout out to the likes of Harvey Elliott, who stepped up. Shout out, obviously he's one of the more experienced kids. But they were imperious yesterday, and it was actually the experience on the pitch that Liverpool had that they used more towards their advantage than what Chelsea did. Look at the experience that Chelsea had. Sterling was barely in the game. He got his goal, but it was obviously disallowed. He wasn't in the game much. Ben Chilwell was more interested in fighting a bunch of kids rather than playing football. There was no leaders on that pitch for Chelsea. There was no one that was willing to take responsibility. And you look at that Liverpool squad, they played with no fear, they played with no regrets, and their experienced players took the forefront of responsibility. And Van Dijk in particular, like I say, grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck. His goal earlier probably should have stood in my opinion, but I can let it slide now because obviously he did actually go on to get the winning goal in extra time anyway. It was brilliant. It was brilliant from him. It was brilliant from him. It was brilliant from the experienced players. And that's what Chelsea lacked. And I've got a question now. These Chelsea players, are they good enough? Are they good enough? You have a £221 million midfield in Enzo and Caicedo being dominated by the likes of your Endos and your McAllisters who cost £51 million between them. That is a disgrace. You've got Sterling, who was anonymous for most of the game. You've got Nicholas Jackson, who I felt did okay, but could have done better. Should have done more. Cole Palmer's been a bright light in an otherwise dark season for Chelsea. I have no problems with him. You've got a backline, which is so hit and miss. It's unbelievable. Gusto, he looks okay 1 minute, and then the next minute, he looks a bit sceptical and a bit dodgy. You've got Disasi, who had a fantastic game against Manchester City last week, but looks a bit awkward. You've got Ben Chilwell, who, like I say, I used to rate Ben Chilwell when he was at Leicester not so long ago. I think the step up to Chelsea hasn't exactly been the best for him. Are these players good enough? And I keep hearing the same thing from Chelsea fans over and over again. We're better than 11th. We're better than 11th. We're better than this. If Pochettino had got this right and if Pochettino had done this, we would be higher than where we are. Cut the crap. You're 11th because you are there on merit. What are you basing this players are better than this off? This is a squad which has all the potential in the world to be great. This has a squad that any manager who likes long-term projects would love to get their hands on and mould into their image. But yet, you think it should be better than what it actually is right now. You believe it is to be better than what it is right now. You believe it is to be better than 11th. Based on what? Based on what? What are you basing that we are better than 11th on? And if we are to take the argument, by the way, that Pochettino had done some things and made some mistakes, which I'm not saying he's completely blameless for, he has made some mistakes, but let's say he's made some mistakes, and let's say that, I don't know, say we're to go through each and every single mistake he's made and rectify it. Shouldn't we also do the same for every other manager that's also been in the league this season? And then they would also have more points. It's a ridiculous argument. It is stupid that you're basing it off of whatever imagination you've got based on, I don't know, money purposes, I guess. Based on money that you're throwing around at will. It's a stupid argument. You're 11th because you deserve to be there. Pochettino was never going to get it right overnight. There's been so much change over the past couple of years at Chelsea that this was never going to be an overnight success. And yesterday, your experienced players let you down. They are the ones that you should be pointing the blame at. Conor Gallagher missed 3 very good golden opportunities yesterday. One of them hit the post, so you can maybe say he's a little bit unlucky. But the other 2, the one-on-one and everything else, so poor. Palmer missed from a couple of yards out. Incredible, phenomenal save by Kelleher, yes, but he still missed. Enzo is worth 150 million apparently. I'll judge that when I see it. He's worth 106 million apparently. I'll judge it when I see it. Caicedo was more interested in breaking legs of the Liverpool players, and that's why he injured 2 of them yesterday. I don't get where this whole Chelsea are better than this kind of comes from. As of right now, you are where you are on merit. Pochettino, look, he's not blameless. He's not faultless. He deserves to be criticised. But my fear for Chelsea, if I am to be neutral, and I am to be honest, is that you'll go through this whole cycle again with a new manager. You'll get a new manager in. He'll change some things. You'll want it to gel overnight. It won't. You'll lose a few games. You'll win a couple of games. You'll lose a few games. You'll go on this very big inconsistent run again. You'll be floundering around in mid-table. And you'll want him out again. And you'll start the whole process again and again and again and again and again. And you'll get absolutely nowhere with it. And you'll be a bigger laughingstock than what you already are right now. Simple as that. I don't condone what he said in this post-match press conference. Liverpool were there for the taking. He should not have been relying on the lottery, that is a penalty shootout, to be trying to win this cup competition. And when it was there for the taking, he should have gone for the throat and he should have pressed down until obviously Liverpool let up. But at the same time, I felt the Chelsea performance yesterday was decent to an extent. I feel like you've got to blame the players for the missed chances. I feel like you've got to blame the players for no leadership, no man management, not even leadership to defend. Van Dijk had already scored one against you. That was ruled out for offside. He already gave you a warning of what he can do, and yet you let him do the exact same thing from a different set piece later on in the game that won Liverpool the match and the cup. No leadership, no experience, absolutely nothing from Chelsea. No killer edge, no killer instinct, no sharp edge in attack, no quality when it matters most, no leadership again, no guidance, nothing from Chelsea, and you're exactly where you deserve to be. And now you've got a decision to make. Do you sack Poch and let the cycle potentially begin again? Or do you keep him? Do you trust him? And do you maybe help him get things right with giving him time, effort and patience the way that Jurgen Klopp has, Arteta has? Those kinds of managers that have obviously come in have big expectations to do some stuff, and obviously were given the time and effort to change the club to the core and to obviously build it up from that point onwards. Over to you, Chelsea fans. Over to you on that one. Look, these are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of this whole Chelsea Mauricio Pochettino situation? Let me know in the comment section down below, so I'm sure it'll make for interesting and great reading. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new and want to see more content like this. Both things are always and very greatly appreciated. And of course, get involved, like I say, in the comment section as well. As always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I'll soon speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll speak to you again very, 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 very soon. See you later.